Record-breaking voter turnout, sweeping gains for the far right, and a historic realignment in German politics. What do these dramatic shifts mean for Germany's future? Stay tuned as we break down the explosive 2025 federal election results. Welcome to Germany Decoded, your premier English-language portal for in-depth insights into German politics, business, culture, law, and lifestyle. Today, we're decoding the results of Germany's 2025 federal election, where every vote tells a story of political transformation. On February 23rd, a record-breaking 82.5% voter turnout, the highest since reunification in 1990, swept across the nation. Over 59 million citizens were eligible to vote, marking a significant surge from the 76.6% turnout in 2021. This high engagement signifies the public's deep concerns about the political and economic state of the country after last year's government collapse. Preliminary results show that the Conservative Christian Democratic Union, or CDU, led by Chancellor candidate Friedrich Merz, won the election with 28.6% of the vote. Not far behind, the far-right Alternative for Germany, AfD, secured 20.8%. A figure that nearly doubles its previous share. Meanwhile, the Social Democrats, SPD, and the Greens garnered 16.4% and 11.6% respectively. Notably, the Free Democratic Party, or FDP, failed to cross the 5% threshold and will not enter the Bundestag. The final official results will be verified by the Federal Electoral Committee on March 14th. In Germany's mixed-member electoral system, voters cast two votes, one for a local candidate and another for a party list. This system determines the 630 seats in the Bundestag. Based on the vote share, the CDU will have 208 seats, the AfD 152, the SPD 120, the Greens 85, and the Left Party 64 seats. Which parties experienced the biggest shifts? The AfD emerged as the big winner, nearly doubling its share, particularly strong in eastern Germany. Its chancellor candidate, Alice Weidel, earned headlines for her hard stance on migration, even drawing praise from figures like Elon Musk. In a surprising turnaround, the Left Party staged a comeback after years of decline, resonating especially with young voters disillusioned with traditional parties. On the other hand, the center-left SPD recorded its worst result in over a century, suffering the largest vote loss in its history. Former Chancellor Olaf Scholz has announced he won't serve in the next government. The Greens, once riding high from the 2021 surge, lost 3% of their vote share, while the FDP suffered heavy losses, leading party head Christian Lindner to retire from politics. Despite the CDU-CSU winning the largest share, they fall short of the 316 seats needed for an absolute majority. Having ruled out a coalition with the AfD, the CDU is most likely to partner with the SPD. Chancellor candidate Friedrich Merz has expressed his intention to finalize a coalition agreement swiftly. Analyzing voter migration reveals notable shifts. Roughly 2 million votes migrated from the SPD to the CDU-CSU, while the Left Party picked up 560,000 votes from the SPD and an additional 700,000 from the Greens. Regional voting patterns also shifted dramatically. The AfD, while capturing about 20% of the national vote, dominated in eastern states like Brandenburg, Saxony, and Thuringia, with over 30% of the second vote in many constituencies, and even exceeding 38% in Thuringia. In contrast, the CDU-CSU maintained strength in the southern, western, and northern regions, with the CSU winning all 47 constituencies in Bavaria. Even in the west, in places like Gelsenkirchen and Kaiserslautern, the AfD secured a majority of the second votes, though the SPD captured the first votes. An intriguing trend is the dramatic shift from red to blue. In 2021, many constituencies in northern and eastern Germany were dominated by the SPD. Fast forward to 2025, and these same areas have switched allegiance to the CDU and AfD. For instance, the SPD's constituencies plummeted from 149 in 2017 to just 17 in 2025, while the CDU surged from 108 to 217 constituencies, and the AfD expanded from 17 to 49. Demographic factors also played a significant role in shaping the election outcome. Young voters, aged 18 to 24, leaned towards the extremes, favoring both the far-right AfD and the left party, while traditional parties like the SPD and CDU received their lowest returns from this group. In contrast, the 35 to 44 age group showed the strongest support for the AfD, and voters over 60 predominantly backed the SPD and CDU. Gender differences were modest overall, but notable in the AfD's 7% gender gap, with men voting more conservatively and women favoring the SPD, Greens, and Left Party. Education level further influenced voting patterns. Individuals without a college education leaned towards conservative choices, whereas those with advanced degrees were over twice as likely to support the Greens and the Left Party. In today's shifting German political landscape, the election results tell us one story, but the campaign proposals reveal another. Let's dive into what each of the leading parties promised during the run-up to the vote and what that might mean for Germany's future. The CDU, led by Friedrich Merz, campaigned on a platform that mixes economic rejuvenation with a stricter stance on migration. Merz unveiled a bold 5-point plan that calls for tighter border controls, processing asylum applications in third-party countries, and expediting deportations of those deemed ineligible to stay. His economic proposals include significant tax cuts aimed at stimulating growth, reducing bureaucratic hurdles, and ultimately restoring Germany's global competitiveness. These measures are designed not only to address the current recession, but also to reassure voters about national security and fiscal discipline. The AfD, on the other hand, capitalized on rising public frustration over immigration. Their campaign proposals were even more radical, calling for what they term remigration, which involves an aggressive approach to expelling undocumented migrants and a reassertion of traditional German identity. While they promise a return to familiar economic symbols like the Deutsche Mark and even propose measures to step back from European integration, their proposals have been widely criticized by mainstream parties as being too extreme. The SPD, despite suffering its worst result in over a century, presented a more moderate alternative. Their campaign focused on boosting social welfare, promising to raise the minimum wage, support low-income families, and invest heavily in public services. Unlike their rivals, the SPD's proposals were rooted in a vision of social solidarity and gradual reform rather than radical change. These contrasting campaign proposals not only highlight the ideological shifts within German politics, but also set the stage for the tough coalition talks ahead. For more in-depth analysis of these platforms, be sure to check out our previous videos, where we break down each party's campaign proposals in detail. In the coming weeks, we'll be following the coalition negotiations closely, so stay tuned for our updates on what these policies mean for Germany's future. In the wake of the historic 2025 election, Germany's political landscape is undergoing a profound transformation. Our discussion now emphasizes not only the record-high voter turnout and dramatic shifts in party support, but also a deeper dive into the campaign proposals that define the race. Together, these insights provide a comprehensive picture of the divergent paths each major party envisions for Germany's future. Remember to check out our previous videos on each party's campaign platform. Stay tuned as we continue to follow the unfolding coalition talks and their implications for Germany's political and economic trajectory. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more in-depth insights into German politics. Thanks for watching Germany Decoded.